Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to a speed build video. If you enjoy this build, don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The build that we're going to be doing today is for my Lily Gen of my Sims in Bloom challenge. If you've been keeping up with Sims in Bloom on my YouTube channel, you'll know that we are now moving on to Generation 8. Which is wild because it feels like I only started the Sims in Bloom challenge yesterday and now we are 8 generations through. So I'm actually really excited for this generation. It is a spellcaster gen and I'm not going to lie, to begin with, wasn't that thrilled because I've played with spellcasters before and I do find that it gets quite repetitive. You know, you're kind of doing the same thing, like practicing magic, and it does get a little bit monotonous. But I've come up with a bit of a different story for this generation. So I am looking forward to it at the minute. Let me read you out the actual bio for Gen 8 Lily Gen. So the colours are white and green, and this is the description of the gen. So it says, hearing the strange myths and seeing ancient ruins around Henford-on-Bagley gave you an interest in the supernatural from a young age. Growing up, you discovered rumours of magical people living around Glimmerbrook. So when you become a young adult, you decide to investigate further. The aspiration that we're going to have to completely max is spellcraft and sorcery. Her traits are bookworm, squeamish, and a genius. And her career is shop owner. And this, I believe, is with the business and hobbies pack. I guess, to be fair, before you could have done it with the yard sale table, but I'm going to be utilising the business and hobbies pack to be a shop owner. She's got to max 3 skills, which is logic, gemology, and herbalism. Herbalism, at the minute, I'm actually still not sure how you max that, how you work on that skill. I kind of thought it was the study of plants, herbs and stuff, but I don't actually know. I've never done that one before in The Sims. And then we've got a list of things that she has to do as well. So number 1 is become a spellcaster. Number 2 is earn money by owning and running a shop selling potions and jewellery. Number 3 is live in Glimmerbrook your whole adult life. Number 4 is bond with every type of magical familiar. She then needs to become good friends with all 3 sages, marry another spellcaster, and then there is an optional one of complete the magical artifact collection, which I have no idea what the collection is. So I'm looking forward to this gen. I'm hoping it doesn't become quite repetitive. I think with Mariette's Gen 7, Tulip Gen before this one, it did start to become quite repetitive because, again, we were earning money by running a shop, but it was just by selling nectar, carvings, and the produce that we were making at the farm. So I think sometimes maybe shops and businesses and running those can be a little bit repetitive. But I'm hoping with the element of magic and maybe a relationship thrown in and a child at some point, I'm hoping it becomes fun. At the minute, you might have seen the first 2 episodes of Sims in Bloom. I'm trying to think. So what I've recorded so far, I'm actually going away on holiday tomorrow. So I'm away for a week. So I've been pre-recording batches of videos to make sure that you lot have got videos to watch while I'm away. So far we're up to episode 2 of my Sims in Bloom challenge. So if you haven't seen that already, I would highly recommend you go and watch that before you watch this, because I am now about to start talking about spoilers in my Sims in Bloom challenge so far. So for this gen, I was trying to think of something a little bit different because Mariette, did she have kids quite late? I wouldn't necessarily say she had them quite, no, actually she did have them quite late. So she had Tiger first, and Tiger was the result of a one-night stand, which is wild. And she then ended up, so Mariette didn't want a relationship. I think, to be fair, she did. To begin with, she did. She wanted a relationship with the creature keeper. He didn't want any commitment to his son, didn't want a relationship with Mariette, so that was the end of that. And I think that kind of crushed Mariette's dreams of having a relationship. So that didn't work out. She then swore off all men for the foreseeable future. and she ended up having a woohoo with Patchy the Scarecrow, who he doesn't need any commitments. He's a scarecrow, he's tied to a tree, and it worked out. She ended up then having Lily Jen, which is Alice Bloom, and she didn't need any sort of, well, she didn't have any sort of commitment with Patchy, so things worked out for the best. However, it was a bit of a difficult storyline to figure out, because Tiger Jen was still a child. We'd just had the newborn of Lily Jen, and I was nearly done with Mariette's Jen. So I didn't want to do a bunch of filler episodes, which, you know, could have taken 5 or 6, or if not more, for Lily Jen to age up into like a teen or a young adult and then start the process of moving out and starting their story. So I then came up with this story that we've gone with, which is that because Lily Jen was born from Patchy, who is a scarecrow, scarecrows generally, their job is to protect plants. So they shoo off, well, they don't shoo, but they're there to scare off birds, they're there to scare off crows and anything that's going to damage the crops, damage the plants. So their job is to make sure that the plants grow. So I thought, with being the daughter of a scarecrow, Lily Jen, Alice, could have this curse where she is cursed in that she grows every single day. So she ages up every day. And if we didn't figure out a way to stop the curse, she was going to age up into an elder and eventually die. So her life would have been very, very short, which, again, if you haven't watched the previous 2 episodes, I explain it a little bit more. So make sure to go and watch them. But she ends up then becoming a spellcaster, basically becoming a witch to stop this curse. But she cannot tell her family, she cannot return to her family, because where she lives in Henford-on-Bagley is like an old English town, and, you know, all the myths and legends of witches aren't treated very well. They weren't treated very well back in the day, and, you know, all those years ago when there was all this like mythical things about witches, families would get executed. Like, you know, if you were thought to have a witch in the family, you would get shunned. There were executions, there were trials, all sorts of things. So Mariette didn't want to put that on her family. So where it stands at the minute in this generation is that she has not told her family. She's now living in the magical planet of Glimmerbrook, and she's training to be a witch. She's a witch, but she's like in magical training. And at the minute she lives with a evil witch. So the wickedest witch that you could think of, she lives with, because she didn't have anywhere to go. She obviously can't go back to living with her mum because, you know, people will talk. So she was recommended to move in with a witch that helps young and fresh and new witches with giving them a place to stay. But it's not that simple, unfortunately. She's not that simple. Her name is Verelda, and she is horrible. I think she feels jealous of like the youth. She feels jealous of Alice, who is a young, beautiful witch. And obviously Verelda is not a young, beautiful witch. She's old, and I think that there is some sort of, I haven't decided yet, but I think there's some sort of law, some sort of, maybe even she's cursed, where she is just an ugly, horrible woman, basically. She's a horrible person, personality-wise, and she isn't that great to look at either, to be quite honest with you. So there is going to be a little bit of law there as well. But Alice now has to live with this evil witch, this evil stepmother figure. So obviously Alice is going to have to figure out a way out of this, because she doesn't want to live with Verelda for the rest of her life. Which then comes in the build that we're working on. I've been rambling, I'm a good yapper. So I've been yapping for the previous 10 minutes. But this build is going to be where Alice eventually moves to. So like I said at the start of this video, she does have to become a shop owner where she is going to sell jewellery and she's going to sell potions. And this is going to be the shop that she sells all of that stuff at. It's also going to be where she lives, hence why it's 2 stories. So the bottom story is going to be the shop and the top story is going to be her house. And it is built in Glimmerbrook. At the end, I believe I looked and it's worth like 75 grand. So I'm sure we'll figure out a storyline there when we need to get the money to obviously buy the place. But I wanted something that was going to fit into Glimmerbrick. And I think often like the Windenburg, the Get Together pack, where it's got that kind of Tudor-esque style of like wallpaper, furnishings and stuff. Well, wallpaper. That actually came in really handy, and I think it suits the town of Glimmerbrick quite well. So I'm pretty happy with how I decorated the build. The outside, I didn't do the generation colours. As you may have seen in my Sims in Bloom challenge, I would normally do like design the outside in the colours of that gen. But I kind of got into the swing of designing the exterior in the way that I did. So I did, however, decorate the interior green and white. To be honest, the green isn't actually a colour that I decorate with that much when I'm doing my own sort of house builds. I don't build massively nowadays. I kind of only build normally when it's like for a legacy challenge. But I am really happy with how it turned out. And honestly, the green is gorgeous. So the counters that I used in the kitchen are from the Life and Death expansion pack. And I'm finding that with this generation, I'm using that pack more than I thought. So most of Alice's outfits in Cass are Life and Death because it just suited her style so much. She's kind of got this, like, she's dressed in like an old-fashioned sort of way. So Life and Death was really good for that. And then also I've used a lot of the Life and Death furniture because that dark green, that sort of, I wouldn't even say emerald green. It's like a is it emerald green? It could be, to be fair. My ring is emerald green. I was obviously trying to factor in all of the things that we're going to have to do with Alice eventually. So, you know, the gemology skill where she's going to be making jewellery. And then downstairs, I was going to put a cauldron upstairs, but I ended, because she's going to have to make potions, but I ended up not having enough, sorry, I was going to put it upstairs. I didn't have enough space upstairs, so it did end up going downstairs in the shop. I think it works quite well. Obviously, this is how I've designed it for now, but that's not to say that when Alice actually moves in, I might have like a change of thought, I might have a change of heart and end up decorating it in a completely different way. I'm also excited for her to bond with the three sages. So she's got to bond with all of the familiars, and I'm pretty sure somebody said there were 11. So we're gonna have to go through all of them, which we've started off with a crow, and so far it seems to be going well. I don't know if you can necessarily actually bond. And when I hear the term bond, I mean, to me, I think build a friendship with them. But I think it just means like to bond with them. So to like come together, I guess. So at the minute she's got the crow. When we get the next when we get the next familiar, we'll then bond with them and then get another one, bond with them. So it's not necessarily bonding as building a friendship, but more so being companions, I guess, having them there and then moving on to the next one. But she's also got to be good friends with all three of the sages. And when I loaded in, so when I was filming the first episode, well, both the first and second episode of Sims in Bloom, on the first episode, we loaded into the magical world and I was looking around for the sages and I could only find 2 in that episode, and they were old and crusty and like literally on the brink of death. So I ended up actually aging them down. I gave them magical names, like brand new magical names to fit with kind of the theme of magic. And I thought that they were a lot better than whatever names they did have. But I didn't give them any CC, but I gave them a Maxis makeover, which is really rare for me. I don't normally give my Sims, obviously, clay hair. I do plan on giving them CC makeovers at some point in the series, but I wanted her to be able to bond with them and to be able to become good friends with them. And, you know, if they were around her age, if they were adults or young adults too, then I thought that was going to be a bit more realistic and just more applying to our story. She can end up getting with all 4 of them at this point, genuinely. So I don't know at the minute. Obviously, she needs to marry another spellcaster. I don't know which of them is going to be end game for Alice. Sorry, I feel like I keep on saying Mariette. When you've been so glued into a generation for so long, it takes me a while to then move on to the next name. Now, as far as the build is going, we have done the apartment side of it, and we're now moving on to the shop. The apartment, I wanted to pack in a few things as well, because I believe she has to work on logic. Yeah, so logic skill I knew that she had to work on. So I put a chess table in and also a telescope. And then downstairs, upstairs, I think in the living room, I put the gemology table. Downstairs, she's got the cauldron, like I said earlier, to work on her not herbalism, but to make the potions. As I say, if anyone can let me know how I work on the herbalism skill, please do tell me in the comments, because as of right now, you might have already told me when I was asking about it in my Sims in Bloom episodes, in the first 2 episodes, but they've actually not gone out yet because, like I said, I'm pre-recording, I'm going away on holiday. So yeah, I don't know how to do herbalism as of right now, but I actually had good fun with designing this shop. Now, knowing that we've got the business and hobbies pack and knowing that we can like sell things, well, I say that, but the yard sale table is like OP. On that, if you mark up prices to 300%, things sell for a bomb. Like it's great. So we'll see how it goes when it comes to actually running the shop and running the business. To be fair, Mariette did do quite well with selling like her produce and selling her woodwork carvings in the shop. I did reserve the nectar for the yard sale table because some of them were going for thousands on that. So hopefully this shop does do well. I've ran a few businesses now with the new pack, and so far they've all been pretty good. Some of them have made, you know, a couple of grand a day, which in the grand scheme of things is really, really good. So never ran a jewellery store before, so this is going to be new for me, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it works out. That you lot are enjoying the series as well. I honestly can't believe that we're at generation 8 now of Sims in Bloom. It's gone really, really quickly. I've had my moments. A lot of it has been, like, I've loved the challenge. Certain parts of it have been frustrating where, like, jobs have glitched. I was saying this the other day, but Indy, I loved his generation. And I loved Indy as a character. He's probably one of my favourite Sims that I've ever actually played. But his job was really glitched. Like, the freelancer career was glitched, and it was just so annoying having to like deal with that all constantly in the episodes. And then like previous gens too, I have really enjoyed Thorn's gen. Honestly, I would probably say is my least favourite because that job and the aspiration felt so grindy. So to be fair, those episodes did feel a lot more grindy than other ones. But I think now, because of the story that we've got with our Lily gen, I am looking forward to it. Like I said, this was probably gonna be my least favourite gen that I was excited for. Like, I wasn't geared up for this gen and I kind of was putting it off. But now with the storyline that we've gone for, with the whole, you know, growing quickly and like cursed, and now she's moved in with this evil stepmother witch, I'm happy with the way that we've gone. Sometimes you just gotta rack into that creative brain a little bit and yeah, figure out something that works for you. Because I think that is the main thing. Like, the main thing is that I'm enjoying the challenge, regardless of, you know, what happens in the game, what storyline we go with. Enjoyment is my priority, so I am enjoying it and I am excited to get stuck into it now, I think. And we're pretty much coming to the end of this build too. I'm putting in the final parts of the shop. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I hope that you all enjoyed watching the speed build, and if you're excited for our next generation of Sims in Bloom, do let me know down in the comment section below. Also, if you like the build, let me know as well, because Lily is going to be moving into this house eventually. We're still going to have to be stuck with the evil witch for a period of time, so it's not going to be happening straight away. But let me know if you like the build down in the comment section below. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Take care, look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Taz out.